Welcome to Western Chester County Checks In. I'm your host, Justin Chan. It is Wednesday, December 15th, 2021, and we are coming to you live from our offices in the Lukens Executive Office Building in downtown Coatesville. We have a great show for you today. Ashley visits Kimberton Whole Foods. We learn about new business threats from Joe Regenski with Breuniger Insurance in our Business Insight segment. And Rachel visits Good Samaritan Services in Coatesville. Finally, we reflect on the last year in our Year in Review segment and sign off for our final live episode of Checks In. But first, let's talk about some upcoming chamber events. First, we have our Breakfast with the Commissioners. That's going to be Wednesday, January 26th. That's going to be at the Boy Scout Park Building, which is in Exton, 7:30 a.m. to 9. $15 price tag for that for members, $20 for guests. And then we have our big membership extravaganza, and that's going to be Tuesday, February 8th at Victory in Parksburg from 5 to 7:30. We do have some other events we're working on planning, including a Young Professionals event, just working on getting that date together for January. So to register for the two events we have scheduled and to find out about these future events when they are official, visit our website, westernchestercounty.com. Speaking of events, it is the holiday season. The city of Coatesville hosted its annual Christmas parade earlier this month. It's back after a year off for the pandemic. The parade featured marching bands, fire trucks, string bands, and many local organizations. It was a fun time for all who lined the streets of Lincoln Highway to watch 2 weeks ago. On this past Sunday, Coatesville held its Pavilion of Trees. This was its first event of this kind, and it was also the tree lighting for Coatesville, sponsored by Elite Therapy, and included a visit from Santa, food trucks, and a lot of fun activities for kids. Visitors were able to vote on their favorite tree that they liked the most, and prizes were given out for the best decor. You can see Santa arriving there, and there's some of the trees. That was actually, I think that might have been the winning tree there. Our team had a fun time covering all of the holiday fun this year in Coatesville. Food and gifts are a big part of the holiday season. We visited Kimberton Whole Foods grocery store and their gift shop for some last-minute gift ideas. Ashley reports that story for us.
Thanks, Justin. I'm Ashley Pierce with the Western Chester County Chamber of Commerce. We're here today at Kimberton Whole Foods to check out their garden gift shop and grocery store. We're going to head inside and talk to Pat, the co-owner of the business.
So we started out as a little farm store on Seven Stars Road, and we were called Seven Stars Farm Store. And we expanded and expanded, and we couldn't fit in the little farm store anymore, and we bought the hardware store that's across the street from this gift center, and started our first real grocery store in the early 90s. And that grew and got healthier and expanded, and then we opened a second store in Downingtown, a third store, fourth store, fifth store, a sixth store, and we're about to open in the fall our seventh store in Wyomissing, PA.
She tells us the importance of sustainable local food.
We are a full-service natural foods grocery store, but our focus is on local growers, local makers. We carry products from a lot of local farms, including meats, vegetables, eggs, milk, baked goods. And one of the most important parts of our mission of Kimberton Whole Foods is that we support local growers, local organic growers specifically, in sustainable agriculture, because we are a large enough entity now that we can purchase from them, and they deliver to our warehouse, and we disperse to our 6 stores, so that it helps the farmer make one drop off, get their check, and carry on. And it's been very successful. We've been doing that for decades.
Melise, manager of the garden and gift shop, tells us why they decided to open this store.
We opened the gift shop in June, and it was just an idea that some of the people over in the store had the idea of opening the store and expanding on our plants, expanding on our gifts, and wouldn't it be great if it was right across the street? And I want to say that it was the next day that this place, they found out that the store right across the street was going to be available for lease. So it was just a little bit of kismet there, and it worked out fabulously. So we opened the store with the idea of giving back to the community, of providing a place for local vendors to come and sell their products, and providing a service of reasonably priced plants, reasonably priced gifts, a place for people to come and meet.
She talks about the local products the gift shop offers.
We have all kinds of things, from pottery to woodwork, ironworks, candles. We have textiles, beautiful scarves and blankets and wraps, socks, lots of alpaca things to keep you warm, hats, all kinds of things like that. Love our local. We have wreaths that are made by local people that are absolutely gorgeous.
Serving the community they're a part of is important to Kimberton Whole Foods.
We really focus on each community we go into, trying to support that community's needs and particular products and interests that they have in their community. So our stores have a slightly different flavor, even though we carry a lot of the same products. Each one, the community sort of forms around the store, and we learn what's important in that community to serve. And have our donation policy is very, very robust. When we go over to this store, you'll see we round up at the register every month for a different social service need. Sometimes it's the fire department, sometimes it's a homeless shelter, sometimes it's a food pantry or a kitchen. Customers can round up to the next dollar with their change, and we match that. So we give away hundreds of thousands of dollars every year doing that. But each store has its own rounding up calendar, so it's for that community.
Melise talks about holiday gift ideas.
Right now, we're in the middle of our 14 shopping days of Christmas. So every day a different thing is featured, and we have the list. If you're on our Instagram page, which is Garden and Gift, Kimberton Whole Foods Garden and Gift Center, and we announce that kind of thing. So we try to do samples of local products here during the weekends. Always have mulled cider, things to keep you warm.
Kimberton Whole Foods continues to expand in our region.
There's not really a limit to how many stores we can have, as long as we feel like we can make them all be Kimberton Whole Foods and not lose the character and the central focus and passion of our business, which is local, organic, sustainable, supporting communities.
Thanks to Pat and Melise for letting us tour the business today. Check out Kimberton Whole Foods for your holiday gift and food needs. Reporting for Western Chester County Checks In, I'm Ashley Pierce. Back to you, Justin.
Thanks, Ashley, and to Kimberton Whole Foods for hosting us. If you'd like to have your business or nonprofit featured as a segment on Checks In, we'd love to have you on. Reach out to our communication coordinator, Rachel. You can see her email on the screen there, rachel@westernchestercounty.com. It's time for our Business Insights segment this week. This episode, we learn about new threats facing businesses today. For our Business Insights segment this week, I've got Joe Regenski here with Breuniger Insurance. Thanks so much for joining me, Joe.
Thanks for having me, Justin. Appreciate it.
So today we're talking about new threats for businesses, and one of the biggest now, I feel like, is cyber, right? Is all of these risks with data loss and client data. Talk a little bit about what those risks look like for a business and what they can do to protect themselves.
Sure. Well, cyber is the new hot button topic in the insurance world. You see it every day in the news. Recently, we had the Colonial Pipeline that was hit with a cyber attack, which affected much of the South. We've had Home Depot, we've had Target. I personally was affected by, I think, both of those. So what people don't realize is when you have a cyber attack and your client data is breached, you have a duty to inform your client database, and there's a federal guideline that's set out that says how many letters you need to send, what you need to do with that data. So people don't realize that now you can get a cyber policy that covers not only that third-party data, which is your client data, but also covers the first-party data, which is your personal data, whether it's recovery, whether it's mitigation aspects from internal, and helping you recover and restore what you lost. So it is a very important coverage, and it is the big one. We think a lot of people now think that's the big, it happens to the big companies. It doesn't happen to the mom and pops and the smaller shops, and that's quite the opposite. The criminals are learning that the big companies have the resources and the manpower to defend that, to stop the attacks, and they're realizing, okay, I can go after the smaller companies and gather similar data, and they're not as well protected. So one area you protect yourself is with a cyber liability policy.
So obviously, so as a smaller business, like I don't need to have the kind of policy that Home Depot does, right? Like, how is the policy gauged? Is it based on just revenue, I guess, right?
It's gauged on revenue, number of clients you would have in your database, things like that. So it is scaled. It is not boilerplate. You get one policy for all the company or all businesses. It is tailored to each individual business and each individual business class.
Got it. So obviously, right now it's a big challenge for employers to get employees in. We're kind of in a labor shortage, so you got a lot of turnover, a lot of new employees coming in. So employee practice liability, so I guess the liability of your staff, right, is a concern.
Well, that's another area that it's not new. Employee practices liability is a defense coverage from an insurance standpoint, where the companies will pay to defend you for allegations against harassment in the workplace, wage and hour claims, and discrimination. And it's not that the businesses are actively doing that, it's that somebody alleges that it occurred there, and you have to defend yourself. And defense costs can be the big brunt of the payout. So having an insurance company back you with that is a really nice, comforting feeling.
And it sounds like important to have. I mean, would you say, so basically anybody that has some level of employees, actual paid employees versus contractors should have it?
Right. Anybody with paid staff, anybody with the ability to have that claim opened up against them. There are, again, scales. You can have it up, $1 million limits. You can have $50,000 limits. There are scales to it of how much protection you want to purchase, but it is highly recommended that you purchase that coverage.
Got it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joe, for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe, for that valuable information. If you'd like to share some tips for our business audience, let us know. We'd love to have you on this segment. For our community update this week, Rachel visited Good Samaritan Services in Coatesville.
Thanks, Justin. I am Rachel Cathell from the Chamber. Today I am at Good Samaritan Services in Coatesville, and I'm going to go inside to speak with Cheryl and Mandy about the services that they provide for the community.
This particular location has been in existence for well over 30 years. We originally were a Bridge of Hope, Lancaster and Chester County, serving single women with children who are experiencing homelessness. In 2017, we joined and merged with Good Samaritan Services, and we continue to serve single women with children, but we also have been able to expand it to serve single individual, male and females, as well as various compositions of families.
We also spoke with Mandy Johnson, and she tells us about the history of Good Samaritan Services.
What started with a shelter, one home with 5 men back in 2002 is now 14 properties with 61 rooms and housing support services. So that means we can serve up to 200 men, women, and children daily between our shelters and our housing support services.
She also tells us the services they offer.
So something I love about Good Sam that makes us unique is that we offer a full spectrum of care for anyone experiencing homelessness or who is at risk of homelessness. So that means we offer eviction prevention, we offer shelters, and we offer finding stable housing. Really, we want to move people from crisis to stability. And so this office here is our housing support services, which means these are families who would qualify for at risk of being homeless.
Cheryl talks about the challenges with the affordable housing market in Chester County.
The majority of the clientele that we serve, or people that we serve, are from the Coatesville, greater Coatesville area. And where it used to be easier to find housing within the income brackets that our families are working in, it's becoming more of a challenge.
In addition to housing, Good Sam provides services for mental health and wellness to ensure long-term stability for their participants.
When we look at providing housing, it's not just about the housing, but we also look at trying to be able to address some of the challenges. So that's mental health. So we're actually developing a partnership with a couple of local mental health organizations to be able to have a component where it's easy accessible for the folks that we serve. Developing a relationship with OIC, and hopefully we connect with CareerLink to be able to develop paths for career development while they're in our program. And we'll provide the necessary supports in order for them to be able to complete the training so that they can get a better paying, hopefully have a better paying job by the end of the program.
Mandy tells us how you can get involved with the organization.
People can get involved in lots of different ways. We have churches, businesses, individuals that are always asking, how can I help Good Sam? Many people donate monthly or quarterly to us. You know, we have an annual budget of $2 million and 97% of that comes from donors. And so we appreciate every single dollar given to us. So that's one way people can partner with us. Another way is they can volunteer by doing like supply drives. For instance, everybody that moves into their own housing or everybody that moves into a shelter receives a move-in basket. And this basket is full of things they would need to have a great start in whatever part of our program they're in. Other volunteer opportunities include mentor programs that we have, teaching workshops. We have someone who comes in and teaches a financial workshop to help our participants like empower them as they go through our program. You know, another thing we offer is an Amazon wish list on our website, so you can literally go on, choose what you'd like. We are updating all the time with what we need. It gets shipped right to our location, and we receive it, and it is such a blessing to us.
They have a fundraiser coming up this January.
Our next fundraising event is on January 20th. It's called the Taste of Phoenixville, and this is an event where local restaurants, breweries, wineries come out, offer a bite-sized portion from their restaurant. It's a wide variety of food and drinks. It's a great time. We have dancing, live music, a silent auction. Tickets are currently on sale. You can go to our website to purchase them. You can also sponsor the event, which includes us, you know, promoting your business and some free tickets.
They both explain how their life journey has brought them to Good Samaritan.
I've been in the social service field for over 30 years. And actually had been working with the homeless population for over 30 years. I'm a licensed social worker. Began working with street outreach in Philadelphia, and it's amazing that at this particular point, I am working in housing support services, so kind of follows the continuum from working with people on the street to working with people in their homes to be able to stabilize.
So I actually just started with Good Sam very recently. I had worked on a church staff for 10 years and I switched to this role, and I wondered, what does my experience on a church staff have to do with this? Turns out everything I learned there is so good here, because my job there is to get people connected, and that's really what I do at Good Sam. So my role is to partner with businesses, churches, individuals, organizations to get them connected to us, whether that's through volunteer opportunities, donations, financial donations. That's my entire job.
The challenges of homelessness are even more difficult during the holiday season. Mandy tells us how you can give.
You can follow us on social media to keep up with all the ways that you can give to Good Sam, especially during this holiday season. We're going to be posting lots of opportunities, whether that's financially or through volunteering or donating items. So please follow us on Instagram, Facebook to stay up to date with all the ways you can partner with us.
We are so grateful for Good Samaritan being in our community and servicing at-risk residents. I am Rachel Cathell reporting for Western Chester County Checks In. Back to you, Justin.
Thanks, Rachel, and thanks to Good Sam for all they do for our community. Keep them in mind for your holiday donations this year. As we move into the holidays and 2021 comes to a close, let's take a look back on some of the stories we've covered on Checks In this year. 2021 started off strong with the ribbon cutting for Reese's Soaps. The 12-year-old entrepreneur opened her soap shop in the Midway Arts Building in downtown Coatesville.
And that's a credit to this community, the family environment here in the city of Coatesville, and a whole lot of people working together.
The hardship of the pandemic continued to be felt in our region. We visited Good Works to find out how they helped our community.
Good Works has some great relationships with local businesses. Companies send their employees out to do community service, and as a group they will go out and they will do the repairs on a home.
Coventry Environmental gave us a tour of their new facility while snow was still falling in February. The Bridge Academy provided support to families this winter with its after-school programs.
We had the mission to equip youth and families with the tools necessary for academic achievement, life skills, creative expression, spiritual growth, and leadership. We really work with families for life. We started doing distributions for the families so that they could still have what they needed to feed their children.
As we moved into the spring, vaccines became more available. We toured Breuniger Hospital to check out their facilities, and we visited Quick Stop Pharmacy, where their staff was busy giving vaccinations.
I enjoy doing it, and I'm glad to be able to help people to get the vaccine, because of course, the sooner we get the vaccine into everybody, the sooner we can get ourselves back to normal.
Spring weather finally came, and we visited Blue Moon Florist for some tips on making fun bouquets, and visited Zing Sushi for some yummy sushi rolls. With vaccines more available and restrictions ending, our members started getting back out in the community. We visited Home 2 Suites to find out about their hotel rooms, and we visited the Iron and Steel Heritage Museum to tour the new visitor center. We visited many businesses, including Blue Dog Printing, the Harrison House, and our titanium partner, First Resource Bank. We celebrated a ribbon cutting with Creation Cottage and worked on our golf game at the Golf Zone.
We're still in the growing stages here. I think I have about another 1 year to go, and I think all our plans will pretty much be finalized. And after that, whatever I can do for any of the businesses and vice versa, I look forward to doing that and look forward to getting more involved in the future.
As summer approached, we learned about outdoor spaces with Milanese Remodeling and how to keep our homes safe from fire at Keystone Valley Fire Department. We celebrated another ribbon cutting in June at Midway Arches.
People need to get out. People need to help us all, uplift this community.
And celebrated Medina's 100th anniversary.
Modina's currently going through an upswing. We also have a very large historical project that we've been working on for the past about 2 years, and it's going to be a long-term project.
We toasted at Stargazer's Vineyard, raised a glass at Suburban Brewing, learned about medications at the Compounding Pharmacist, and found out what's being manufactured at Nth Solutions. Our members were able to network at our annual Gala on the Green event held at Greystone Mansion.
It's great to see so many small businesses back in person as the economy reopens.
We honored Parksburg Point.
The Point took it on themselves to organize and to be able to go out and to be able to feed these kids.
And recognized our scholarship winners. We visited the new Ackland Library, the Coatesville Youth Initiative, and the new home to the Boy Scouts, all providing valuable services to our community. This fall, our region got hit with some terrible floods, but our residents came together to help. Some of our businesses, like Animated Brewing, were hit especially hard.
It was really hard for us to wrap our head around how to move forward past that.
We love Coatesville and we will stay in Coatesville.
We were just lucky enough that the community was so instrumental in helping us get back up on our feet.
In September, Coatesville held its 5th annual Invitational Vintage Grand Prix event, and the Chamber was proud to sponsor and host the VIP area. Death is a hard part of life, and we visited Wynn's Funeral Home, who's been serving the community for over 100 years. We came back together for our annual dinner at the barn at Stony Brook to raise money for flood victims and to honor those who served our chamber and the community.
In a pandemic, you guys have thrived with major flooding. This community has thrived and worked out to help each other. The fact that we're honoring two people that have been such a part of that, not just this year, but for decades before, congratulations and thank you so very much. We said goodbye to our Executive Director, Donna Stelz, who is retiring in March. As fall continued, we visited Highland Orchards for some apples and got some updates from our city and township leaders at the 20th Annual Municipal Update Lunch. Valley Creek Productions held its ribbon cutting event, and we celebrated the groundbreaking for the new Coatesville train station.
I want to thank all the partners who've made this possible. What I think we've done here, what you've done, is really a great thing for Pennsylvania.
This is more than just a train station. It adds to the momentum that is already being created in Coatesville and will provide benefits to the local residents for years to come.
As 2021 comes to a close, we remember all the good times and new businesses we helped open. Chamber President Greg Vitry said our chamber is the place to be. We look forward to what comes next for our chamber and for our region as we move into 2022. Thanks to our editor, Coraline, for putting that package together for us. If you caught in the story there, Executive Director Donna Stelz is retiring in a few months. We announced earlier this week that our communication coordinator, Rachel Cathell, will be taking over as Executive Director January 1st. Congratulations, Rachel, on your new position. We know you will do great things for our organization. This will be the final live episode of Western Chester County Checks In. We will continue to shoot segments about our members, partners, and community organizations and push them out as short videos 3 times a month. Putting a live broadcast together is not an easy task, especially when we started the show from my home basement locked down in April of 2020. Since then, we have produced 38 episodes of the broadcast and featured over 100 local businesses, partners, and nonprofits. This would have not been possible without our production team, including Justin Kuiper, Shannon Solly, and now Adam Lancer, who functioned as technical directors behind the scenes with me during the broadcasts. Also, Zach Klein and Coraline Patine, who created graphics and edited some of the stories that ran on the show. The stories would not have happened without board volunteers who came out to report the stories for us, and those include Alyssa Griffith, Brenda McNeil, Claudia Montine, and Greg Vitry. And to our chamber staff that came up with the story ideas, scheduled shoots, and functioned as reporters. It's been a pleasure hosting the show, and I'm going to miss the energy of a live broadcast, with the exception of whenever we have technical issues, which is unfortunately has happened a couple times, including today. I look forward to serving the chamber as its board president in 2022. So I guess I'll be speaking to a lot of you live next year, but without a teleprompter. So that's it for our show and our final live show today. I'm your host, Justin Chan. Thanks for watching and happy holidays.